Welcome. I'm Evelyn Rudy.
And I'm Paul Shackman.
And this is Santa Monica on Stage, where we talk about the people and venues that make the city of Santa Monica the cultural destination for the performing arts.
We've got quite a show lined up today. We're focusing on one of the most exciting arts training facilities, Santa Monica High School.
We'll start with a look at the documentary Big Voice, which follows a year in the life of the choral program at Samo High.
Then we'll visit with the theater department to find out more about their productions and training programs.
Let's get going on another Santa Monica on Stage. Producer-director Varda Barkar spent a year following the choral program at Santa Monica High School. Let's take a look at her documentary, Big Voice.
Auditions are the hardest thing I do each year. They have to be able to read music. They have to be able to read rhythms.
Takira, takira.
Ta-dee-ta.
I'm sorry.
Oops.
It used to be I just wanted a good sounding choir, but I felt like all I was really giving these kids was the ability to stand in a semicircle and sing 5 or 6 or 7 ditties, and that's it. I can't tell you what it says to me when you are not prepared and then you sit in your audition and cry.
He's a little intimidating.
He seemed very serious.
How much did you prepare for this audition?
I did prepare, but I'm nervous.
It's true that he's never satisfied.
I want you all to sing the same ooh vowel there. Fix it. If you've reached this bar, then I'm going to move the bar here. Folks, these are tiny details, but it's what's going to separate choirs. I think that's part of the journey and part of what makes learning incredible. Always reaching for what can come next, what can we do next, how can we push kids more without killing them, of course.
But yeah, I had no idea what I was getting myself into when I joined.
I'm a tough cookie. I don't believe people can make really good music together unless they love and trust the people that they're making music with.
The senior boys, I don't understand what's going on in their bands.
Choir girls, if you anger them, they will draw claws. They're like, ah!
What do you want from this year?
When we're together, it's like nothing else.
Everyone cares about the music and cares about each other and working together, and that sensation is like ecstasy.
I love choir.
It's just been one of the better high school experiences.
Choir has done a lot for me. He put so much into this program and this choir, and he just wants it to succeed so much.
I want what we're doing to feel so great and so right that I get goosebumps every day, and that you do too.
That was breathtaking. I can't wait to see the whole thing. We're joined now by the artist that made it all come together, producer-director Varda Barkar. Hello, welcome.
Thank you.
We are just amazed at this. How did it all come to be? I know you said, we were talking earlier, you said about how it was sort of a confluence of Santa Monica artists that made this whole thing happen so beautifully. But how did it start?
Well, in a nutshell, I had been creating a lot of short form videos. I'd done some web series, and I was approached by an executive producer about the possibility of doing a scripted film as a director. And he wanted a very particular type of genre pieces, so like very broad comedies that, you know, somewhat I found exploitive, you know, horror and things like that. And I kept reading these scripts, and they just did not resonate with me. And I had this moment of whimsy. I was in the kitchen and I was cooking, and I was thinking, if I could make any movie in the world, what would that film be? And I thought, well, I would like to make a film about Mr. Halls and the choir, because I had recently seen the choir perform, and I was so moved and so taken by seeing these young teenagers from the 21st century singing music that had been written hundreds and hundreds of years ago with such passion and with such ownership. I mean, I think it's really quite extraordinary, and it's moving to see. And of course, just the music itself and the music that Mr. Halls selects is extremely poignant, and it's got this combination of the life force, but yet there's a beauty to it, but there's always a little bit of sadness, which I can really relate to. And so that's how it all started.
So you had the idea that this is the film. If I could make any film, this is what it would be.
Yes.
And then how did it progress from there, from that idea, that aha moment, to actually getting off the ground?
Well, that's a good point. I always say to people, it's so funny. You can have an idea and it just takes a split second,
Right.
But then it's like 4.5 years later, to realize it takes 4 years. So that's a good question. I had a number of months back, maybe even like a year before, I had participated in a Save Our Schools campaign. State budgets, for education being cut, and there was a gap. And I'd heard that they were going to be cutting nurses, and they were going to be cutting teachers' aides, and they were going to be cutting arts programs and that. And I felt, oh my gosh, I don't want to see this happen. So I volunteered to help raise money to fill that gap, and I made a PSA towards that, which was apparently quite useful to the campaign. And I brought some films in, and we had screenings to raise funds. Anyway, so I was part of this group that raised $1.5 million in 6 weeks.
Wow.
And so my commitment, my passion had been demonstrated already.
Sure.
That I was serious about, my believing that arts education is important, and my commitment. So I was able to go to Linda Gross, at who's the executive director of the Santa Monica Malibu Education Foundation, and approach her and say, I want to do this. What do you think? Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's a good idea? Can you help me bridge, the idea with the school and get me in, then let's see if we can make this happen. And so she already had that trust and belief in me, and so she wanted to help, and that's kind of how it started.
That's so exciting. And the Santa Monica, the choir is just amazing. They're really amazing. Every time I see them, I feel the same thing that you do, about how it touches your soul when you listen to them. At the Playhouse, we do a tour every year to England with a group of young people.
Mm-hmm.
And one year, and it was a 10-day tour, we had filmmaker Luke Leslie follow us around. So that's 10 days. And it was quite an experience. So what must it have been like for you and for these young people to be followed for a year and a half or a year? Did you notice they ignored you, they became family? How invested did you become in them? How emotionally, how did that work?
Well, that's a good question. I was fascinated by, first of all, I really didn't understand, and none of us really understood, the breadth of this project going in. I didn't imagine it would take 4 years, and I didn't imagine what it would take. In fact, it was so strenuous that by the time we finished shooting, I had the shingles.
Oh no.
I mean, my whole immune system had just completely collapsed. I'd given my all, really, like everything I possibly could.
It sounds like.
To make it
Yes.
succeed. But the interesting thing is, when we first entered the classroom, Mr. Halls was incredible. He never even reacted to the camera. And when you see the film, you'll see we had a lot of close-ups. It's like a movie. It's like watching a movie more than a documentary. I always had at least 2 cameras going, so we had a lot of different angles and ways of cuttings that really took you in intimately into the story. But from day one, I had the camera like right in his face, and it's like we weren't there. With the students, it took a little while longer. At first, they were reactive, but within a few weeks, we were just so much part of this class. We were in there so much that they really ceased to react, at least on the outside. And I can't say that I got emotionally involved too much, because I think I was so caught up with making sure that we got all the right story pieces and all the right threads. It was so demanding that I was more, kind of just like doing it. I was so in the moment that I wasn't reflecting at all. I had to be very present in order to make this work. Yeah.
What do you think? Well, there's a part of me that wants to ask, if there's a particular narrative that came through that was, the main through line of this particular piece. But then I'm as curious as to what you discovered through this process that absolutely surprised you, that you were totally unexpected, and you had this experience that just was the absolute surprise?
She was quite profound, what I came to realize. It's something that I understood intellectually prior to making the film. But what I realized was that, actually there's a few things. One is that the education is very much in the struggle. You'll see when you watch the film, there is struggle. That there's nothing wrong with there being, having a tough time, the push, the pull, all the struggle itself. That's where all the learning takes place.
Are we talking about a creative struggle?
Yes. For example, Mr. Halls aspires to excellence. And he doesn't even have a place where excellence arrives at. It's almost like excellence is unattainable. So it's always striving, striving, striving. The students can never really be good enough because he doesn't know where it stops. He's always pushing past. It's not like he sees what it could be and they're striving for that. It's like he doesn't even know what it could be, right? So there's a lot of resistance from the students because they're working so hard and it never seems to be good enough. But I realized that it's in that very effort, in the struggle, even though it might appear, oh God, something's wrong because they're pushing back and he's frustrated and this and that. And what I realized is that's the education. It is that struggle. Life doesn't need to be smooth and everything perfect and ideal and harmony. That's wonderful when we have those moments, but the moments where we're really learning is in the struggle. And that was a really huge, so the big voice includes the struggle as well as the achievements and the breakthroughs and all of that. That was probably my biggest insight.
And did you go through the same sort of personal struggle in making the film?
Yes, very much so. And it's ongoing, and it's sort of like you keep having to wake yourself up to this truth that in fact the struggle is perfection, that the hardship, the challenges, that is our perfect life. You forget, you get so caught up in the minutiae and the details of it, then you think, oh, something's wrong. And then you have those moments where you suddenly see, no, nothing's wrong. This is life. This is what life is.
The struggle is the journey, and that is where you learn. That's a beautiful message, I think, for all of our listeners, whether they are singing or whatever they're doing in life. So we thank you very much, Varda, for being here with us.
You're welcome.
We wish you all the best of luck, and we can't all wait till we can see Big Voice somewhere on the big screen or the small screen or on our iPhones or someplace.
Great.
Stay tuned. We're checking in with the Samo High Theater Department next.
For many performers, high school is the place where it all began. Samo High's theater department has been the stomping grounds of many Hollywood stars, and we are thrilled to catch the teacher who's making it happen today. Please welcome Kate Soller. Hi, Kate. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I would love to find out why you think theater is so important in our schools.
Well, I think that it is an area where students, one, feel that they belong. I think it creates a kind of community where students come to high school and actually feel like they're a part of something. I think that that's really, really important. In a huge public high school where people can feel overwhelmed, they feel a sense of belonging. Also, it teaches skills like being able to speak to people, being able to understand where different people are coming from, different points of view of people from different perspectives, the ability to look at a text, understand the text in a much deeper way, and the students use their creativity, the level of commitment that they put into a production. I mean, I could go on and on. I just think it's incredibly valuable.
You know, Kate, when I was going to high school, we had all kinds of different festivals and competitions with the Drama Festival and the Shakespeare Festival. I'm sure those are still alive today. And what sort of competitions are the Samo High students involved in?
We participate in the DTASC Festival. It's drama teachers of Southern California. And each festival, there's a fall and a spring. The fall is everything except Shakespeare, and they have different categories that they compete in, and then the spring one is only Shakespeare, and different high schools from all around Southern California host them.
What are they judged on?
It's different. They have a criteria, a judging criteria. If either one of you are ever interested in judging, you're welcome to. But they have a different criteria, but they have certain categories that they can participate in. Like, for example, one of my favorite Shakespeare categories was to play a scene once dramatically and then to do it a second time, the exact same scene comedically.
Ooh.
And it was pretty cool. I mean, like, it's really open to artistic creativity and imagination.
That's awesome.
That's a great challenge.
Yeah. I understand there is something at Samo High called public domain.
That is correct.
Which basically is where the students take full ownership for the writing, the directing, the acting, and I think we have a little video. So why don't we take a look?
Let's do.
I think what makes public domain so special is it's just a bunch of students doing whatever they want to do.
Well, I think it's a unique opportunity where everybody can do something that matters to them, and that they, everybody gets an opportunity to do something. Like, if you're really into theater, if you're not really into theater, there's something for everyone.
Dancing, poetry, singing, acting, whatever.
Everything's completely run by the students. It's only facilitated by administrators.
It's basically what the students put into it is what the performance is. So what's special about it is their engagement, their commitment level, the fact that they own every piece, every show, every act that goes into public domain. The students take full ownership over it.
Because they do a lot of weird things in public domain. And it's just fun because they can really let loose and do whatever makes them feel comfortable and makes them feel like they're doing something that they love. Come to public domain.
Wow.
Wow.
That looks pretty impressive. What a challenge for them to do all of that.
Yes.
What kind of exercises do you train these young minds with?
Theater activities, well, we do a number of different theater activities. Some of them are to build ensemble, and some of them are to get them to use their voices, and some of them are to get them to move around. But if the two of you wouldn't mind, I would like to engage you in a theater activity that will get you to use your imagination, your creativity, and your improvisational skills. So, if you could pick up the book.
Oh, my imagination.
Yes.
My improv.
So what's going to happen is that you read one line, and then you're going to respond to his line, and then you're going to read a second line, the direct next line from there, and you're going to respond to that. And I would like to mention that it is a student named Harrison who taught me this activity.
Thanks, Harrison.
Thanks, Harrison.
Thanks a lot, Harrison.
Good.
What's this exercise called?
Okay, open the book.
But what's it called? No, I'm kidding. All right.
It's called Open.
Open the book. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. I was wrapping up a show in England when I received word from my manager that I had an offer to open the season at the Persian Room.
At the Persian Room. From what I understand, having read the reviews, you were a big flop.
Oh, well, my English girlfriend from the show, Sally, thought it a grand reason for us to go shopping in Paris. And I had some beautiful couture gowns designed for me by Balmain.
For you? Oh, I would have loved to have seen you in one of those gowns.
Okay, I'm going to pause you there for a moment. Can you do exactly what you just did, but do it sad? This is a very sad moment. You've just got terrible, terrible news.
Going back or continuing?
No, not continuing. Going exactly
from the very
from
top.
The same place, yeah.
I was wrapping up a show in England when I received word from my manager that I had an offer to open the season at the Persian Room.
From what I understand, the reviews I read, you were a terrible flop.
My English girlfriend from the show, Sally, she thought it a grand reason for us to go shopping in Paris, and I had some beautiful couture gowns designed for me by Balmain.
Balmain? Oh, I'm sure you were beautiful in them.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, we're going to stop there. That was fantastic. You both had full commitment, believable characters. I think the sadness could have been a little bit more believable, but it was funny. It was interesting to watch,
So-
and you definitely had full commitment there.
Am I going to lose at Public Domain?
No, absolutely not. You would have got cast. You definitely would have got cast.
That was really
It was
fun.
really
What a
fantastic.
great exercise.
That's gonna, I'm going to steal that one.
I was just going to say the
I
same
stole
thing. You
it from
stole my
Harrison.
sentence.
Open the book.
I was going to steal it too.
What other exercises do you guys do?
We do vocal warm-ups. We do energizers where students have to run around the room with different incentives, like they want to catch somebody or do something. For example, there's one of my favorites. It's called Enemy and Protector. So we get in a big circle of, let's say, 25 students or more even, and they choose one person just in their mind to be their enemy and another person to be their protector. So at all times they have to keep their enemy between them and their protector. And it's about movement, and it's about paying attention to the space, and it's about being present and kind of fully committing to the idea that if your enemy has a clear shot at you, it could be harmful. So they get pretty into that activity. I enjoy that a lot.
Do you ever have parents involved in the classes or in the improvs or exercises or anything like that?
I haven't had parents involved in the actual classes, but they're very involved in the productions, which makes it so wonderful, and it feels like a full community experience. The parents help with all kinds of different things, from publicity to helping with concessions, to helping with, you need batteries that night for your microphones, and whatever it might be. And they're very helpful, and it's wonderful to be a part of a community where everyone is involved. It's like a full family event. They build the sets for us. They deal with food. They ask people for donations, and then people donate food, on certain nights and stuff like that.
Wow.
It's great.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So how close are you with the parents of the students? It makes a big difference, I would
Absolutely,
assume.
and especially after like a couple of years, you get to know them better and better. And actually, Varda, who was on the show earlier, was a parent of Raven, her daughter, and she was also involved, and she helped with getting us meals and stuff for those productions.
Yeah, she sounds like a go-getter.
Yeah, she's phenomenal.
She makes things happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is probably really important when you're trying to really raise funding to do exactly what you want to do, right?
You really need that buy-in, and you need their support, not just to do the things that you need them to do, but to kind of believe in the program and support the program and allow their kids to be there night after night, because Public Domain is less so, but the other productions, like what we just did, The Wizard of Oz, and early in the year we did House of Blue Leaves. The demand for their time is so incredible.
Right.
I asked them to be there until 9:30 at night for weeks on end, and it's a lot. And for the parents to believe that that's something that they want their kid to do, I think is pretty incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
your passion and your commitment, they're very lucky to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Kate.
Thank you for
really
having
great.
me.
Yeah. Well, stick around because we have a special performance coming up next.
I thought I had everything under control. Then, one day, something happened. I didn't know how to stop it. I didn't know there was help. Until someone told me.
Providing access to justice, the Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles can help with domestic violence issues, eviction defense, government benefits, immigration, and other civil legal issues.
Performing a monologue from the Laramie Project, please welcome Renzi Feliz.
My son Matthew did not look like a winner. He was rather uncoordinated and wore braces from the age of 13 until the day that he died. But in his all too brief life, he proved that he was a winner. On October 6, 1998, my firstborn son and my hero lost. On October 12, 1998, my firstborn son and my hero died, 50 days before his 22nd birthday. I keep wondering the same thing that I did when I first saw him in the hospital bed. What could he have become? How could he have changed his piece of the world to make it better? Matt officially died in a hospital in Fort Collins, Colorado. But he actually died on the outskirts of Laramie, tied to a fence. You, Mr. McKinney, You and your friend Mr. Henderson left him there by himself. But he was not alone. He had God. And I feel better knowing that he wasn't alone. Matt's beating, hospitalization, and funeral focused worldwide attention on hate. Good is coming out of evil. People have said that enough is enough. I miss my son, but I am proud to be able to say that he is my son. Judy, my wife, has been quoted as being against the death penalty. It has been stated that Matt, too, was against the death penalty. Both of these statements are false. Matt believed there were certain incidents and crime that justify the death penalty. I, too, believe in the death penalty. And I would like nothing better than to see you die, Mr. McKinney. However, this is time to let the healing process begin. Time to show mercy to someone who refused to show any mercy. I'm going to grant you life in the memory of someone who no longer lives. And every day that you celebrate a Christmas, the 4th of July, or a birthday, you remember that my son isn't. And every day that you wake up in your prison cell, remember, you had the ability and the opportunity to stop your actions that night, Mr. McKinney. You have robbed me of something very precious, and I will never forgive you for that. I am granting you life in the memory of someone who no longer lives. May you have a long life, Mr. McKinney. And may you thank Matthew every day for it. Thank you.
Can you imagine being followed around for a year with a camera?
Well, I could. No, I think that would be quite daunting. That would be kind of weird. I mean, that's almost reality television.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if it does change you, no matter how you pretend or try to make it not.
You know, I think in this kind of situation where the documentary, where they really pull back and they're not, you know, in reality television, they're
in your face.
They're pushing you for a little confrontation
Right.
and drama. And in this case, I just don't think that's
No,
what
I think
happens.
it's probably, it's a beautiful experience.
How about that Renzi? How about that monologue?
Oh, so touching,
Wow.
so moving.
Wow.
And I love that exercise. Let's see here.
Look what she does to me.
I think this calls for some form of celebration.
I can't wait. It's been a while since we've celebrated.
Are you catching a cold?
I am, as a matter of fact. How did you know?
Because I have just the thing. Astra C, a mixture of vitamin C and herbs. 2 tablets 4 times a day.
I love it.
That was really fun.
Yeah, it was.
That was really fun. And she's an amazing teacher.
Yeah.
Just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I like her. She's great. She's great.
Well, that wraps things up on another episode of Santa Monica on Stage.
We look forward to seeing you next time as we introduce you to more local artists that make Santa Monica an incredible arts destination. See you next time.